Hello, welcome to my presentation about Patagonia, a company that's known for its strong environmental values and sustainability mission. However, even Patagonia has faced criticism for unethical labor practices in its supply chain. In this presentation, I will apply 4 ethical frameworks to evaluate Patagonia's dilemma through an intersectional lens and propose a more ethical solution. Patagonia has built its brand on doing good, protecting the environment, promoting sustainability, and encouraging people to buy less. But investigations have revealed that some of the overseas factories that Patagonia uses, like in Vietnam or Taiwan, they have really poor working conditions, long hours, and low wages. This creates a major ethical tension, which is the question: can a company be ethical or sustainable if the people making its products are being exploited? These are the stakeholders involved, which include factory workers, who are mostly women in low-income countries, Patagonia corporate leaders and employees, customers who want to support ethical fashion, environmental groups and activists, and finally investors who care about brand reputation and profit. Each of these groups experiences the dilemma differently, especially across lines of gender, class, and nationality. The responsibilities lens, which is based on Immanuel Kant's deontological ethics, which focuses on moral duty and doing what's right, regardless of the outcome. From this perspective, Patagonia has a moral duty to treat every worker with respect and dignity, not just to minimize environmental harm. If Patagonia relies on labor exploitation to achieve its sustainability goals, it's using people as a means to an end instead of respecting them as ends in themselves. A Kantian approach would say no amount of environmental good can justify violating fundamental rights and dignity. The rights lens connects to John Stuart Mill's utilitarian ethics, which focus on creating the greatest good for the greatest number of people. Patagonia, their environmental acts or efforts do help the planet, which benefits many people long term. But when factory workers experience harm, such as low pay or poor and unsafe conditions, the total happiness decreases. A utilitarian analysis would ask, does the good of protecting the environment outweigh the suffering of exploited workers? In this case, it doesn't. A truly ethical company would ensure both environmental and human well-being. The reputation lens, connected to Alistair MacIntyre's, I don't know how to pronounce that, his virtue ethics, which is all about moral character and integrity. Patagonia markets itself as an ethical, transparent, and values-driven brand. But if it allows labor abuse in its supply chain, that creates moral hypocrisy, a gap between what it preaches and what it practices. A virtuous company would strive to live out its values consistently, even when no one is watching. MacIntyre would say Patagonian's ethical reputation only matters if it's grounded in authentic virtue, not image management. The relationship lens is tied to John Rawls' theory of justice, which emphasizes fairness and equality. Rawls believed that social and economic inequalities are only acceptable if they benefit the least advantaged members of society. In Patagonia's case, the poorest people in its supply chain, like factory workers, aren't benefiting fairly compared to wealthy consumers or executives. From this lens, Patagonian's current system fails the Rawls fairness test. To be just, the company must ensure that success improves life for those at the bottom, not just at the top too. Using an intersectional lens helps us see who is most affected. Many factory workers are a woman of color in developing countries. They face both gender and class inequalities. Their experiences are shaped not only by their jobs, but also by where they live, what language they speak, and their limited access to power and education. Intersectionality reminds us that ethical decisions must consider how different identities overlap, not just treat everyone as if they experience the issue the same way. To align his values with his actions, I proposed several steps for Patagonia, which would be full supply chain transparency, publicly share labor audits and supplier details, commit to living wages, not just minimum wages, in all factories, which would help out the workers. Include worker voices, which would make programs that let overseas workers participate in ethical decisions. And I think these changes would strengthen Patagonia's moral duty, increase their overall happiness, demonstrate virtuous character, and promote fairness. In conclusion, Patagonia is a leader in environmental responsibility, but ethical leadership must extend to people as much as to the planet. When analyzed through these four ethical frameworks and an intersectional lens, it becomes clear that true sustainability means protecting workers, respecting human dignity, and building fairness into every part of the business. As Patagonia continues to grow, its challenge is not just to do less harm, but to do right for everyone involved in its supply chain. Thank you.